of a quiet night under the crescent moon, a man was patrolling while trying to stay awake. Suddenly, he was startled by a strange sight. In the distance, he saw someone wearing a hooded jacket biting into a cow lying on the ground. It turned out that person was a vampire. The vampire turned to look at him, and their eyes met. Terrified, the man screamed and ran away. The next day, Raul and Rose were walking through the forest. They were searching for the vampire who had bitten the cow the night before. According to a witness, the vampire had fled into this forest. However, after hours of searching, they still hadn't found any trace of the human-like vampire. So they decided to set up camp in the forest. Not long after, they found a lake with crystal clear water. Rose and Raul decided to camp by the lake. Suddenly, Rose started taking off her clothes. Raul was shocked and blushed in embarrassment. Cheerfully, Rose walked into the lake and splashed into the water joyfully. With her beautiful figure and bright smile, Rose played in the water and invited Raul to join her. Wow, lucky Raul! They ended up playing in the water together, completely naked. But suddenly, Rose tripped on a rock underwater. Raul quickly caught her to keep her from falling. By accident, his hand touched a sensitive part of Rose's body. He immediately let go, blushing furiously, and apologized, saying it was unintentional. Instead of getting angry, Rose hugged Raul and said, "Hold me, so you won't drown." Sounds pretty nice to bathe with Rose, huh? They continued playing together in the lake, but from a distance, someone was watching them. Yes, it was the human-like vampire. The vampire stared at Raul lustfully, tempted by his body that looked too delicious to resist. But Rose sensed the hidden presence. She quietly left Raul and snuck toward the intruder, planning to lure the vampire into her trap. Yes! Raul was actually the bait set by Rose. Suddenly, Rose appeared right behind the vampire. The vampire jumped in shock and fear, wondering how she got there so fast. But instead of attacking, Rose looked amused, happy to have had such a fun time playing in the water with Raul after so long. Then, slowly, her intimidating aura filled the air. She stepped closer and, with a chilling glare, warned the vampire, "You're 100 years too early to touch Raul." The vampire froze in terror. Moments later, Raul stepped out of the lake after his bath, only to find the human-like vampire lying defeated on the ground in front of him, with Rose standing proudly beside him. One night, Rose was fast asleep. Her smooth hair, long ears, and small lips looked so charming. She wore a very alluring nightgown. Suddenly, Raul woke up from his sleep, shouting for his mom and dad, his face filled with worry. He kept having the same nightmare over and over again about his dark past. Unable to sleep, he left his room and saw the balcony door open. He walked over to it. There, he found Rose standing in her seductive nightgown. Rose asked, "Why aren't you sleeping, Raul?" Raul turned the question back at her. "Why aren't you sleeping, Rose?" Rose smiled and replied, "Because I'm a vampire. I always enjoy the night," and thought to herself, "What kind of question is that, Raul?" Rose then invited Raul to have some hot milk in the garden and gracefully jumped down. She landed smoothly with an acrobatic jump, looking absolutely enchanting. She asked Raul to jump too. Although scared at first, Raul gathered his courage. He jumped, and Rose caught him. Wow! Rose is really strong! As she held Raul like this, Rose was reminded of the past when Raul was little and so adorable. They sat together, and Rose prepared hot milk for Raul. She said that the hot milk would make Raul fall asleep quickly. Rose then began to share a story. When Raul was little and couldn't sleep at night, I would always give him warm milk. Back then, Raul had just lost his parents and seemed anxious almost every day. I would always wrap you in a blanket and give you warm milk until you finally fell asleep. Raul then spoke about his dream. That day, I was left all alone. I thought I had gotten over it, but when I had that dream again, I felt scared. Scared of being alone, and that made it hard for me to sleep. But now, I'm okay, 'cause Rose is by my side. Suddenly, Rose cupped Raul's cheek and kissed his forehead. So sweet. Raul was taken by surprise and his cheeks turned red. With a soft yet firm tone, Rose said, I will never leave your side, Raul. I promise you that. Even if they were to part ways someday, Rose promised she would always come back and find Raul. Their hands touched, just like how Rose found Raul back then. Because if I let Raul feel lonely, I wouldn't be able to face your parents, would I? Said Rose, smiling gently. In front of the house, surrounded by beautiful flowers, Rose stood silently, gazing at them. A hint of jealousy crossed her mind. These flowers were so beautiful, all because Raul had taken such good care of them. Just then, Raul appeared, walking confidently while holding a letter addressed to Rose. There was no sender written on the envelope. Curious, Rose opened the letter. It was surprisingly long. As she read through it, she discovered that it was from her older brother, who had been away for a very long time. Raul was taken aback. Wait, Rose has a brother! His name was Rouge Chan. Apparently, Raul had met Rouge once when he was just a child, but he couldn't remember. It had been so long ago. Rouge was a very shy person, even as a kid. He used to spend most of his time reading books by the window. For someone like him to suddenly leave the house and come all the way here, something big must be going on. Without wasting a second, Raul ran inside to prepare for Rouge's arrival. Together, Raul and Rose started setting things up, choosing drinks and food, arranging the dining table, picking beautiful flowers. Rose was genuinely surprised at how enthusiastic Raul was about everything. He had even wanted to do more, but due to the limited time, he could only manage so much. Although for something done in a rush, it was quite impressive. Raul even prepared a cozy mattress, complete with a parasol so Rouge could read comfortably outdoors. Suddenly, Rose jumped onto the mattress with a mischievous grin and invited Raul to join her. She wanted him to relax for a bit. After all, he had worked really hard. Embarrassed, Raul climbed onto the mattress. But out of nowhere, something flew straight at him. Had Rose not pulled him away in time, it would have hit him. Thud! It was a scythe. It stabbed into the mattress just inches from where Raul had been. Then, a figure in a cloak slowly approached them. Raul instinctively stood in front of Rose to protect her, but the cloaked figure pulled back their hood. It was Rouge Chan, Rose's older brother. Tall, long, silky hair, strikingly beautiful face. Raul stared in shock. This person is Rouge! Rose quickly ran to him, beaming. She had missed him so much. She leapt forward and hugged him tightly. It had been 10 years since they last met. Rouge looked exactly the same as the last time. Well, he was a vampire. Of course he hadn't aged. Suddenly, Rouge raised his arm and swung at Rose. She dodged it just in time. Raul caught her in his arms, confused and startled. Rouge-chan, why are you angry? What's wrong? Rose asked. Rouge glared and shouted, That man! He was furious, thinking Raul had been toying with Rose's feelings. Raul was stunned and had no idea what was going on.